Alright, here's a small demonstration of why it seems that you can't really rely on using a color picker when using Chrome. There seems to be some kind of color management happening when things are displayed, and if you're using color pickers, for instance, to check color contrast, you just end up getting very slightly different results, which may impact your actual testing results. So I've got here in Chrome, I've got a little square. I've given it a very specific color, F40065. So let's try to begin with using the color contrast analyzer. And let's just pick that color. So we're expecting F40065. If I go over this and pick it, it actually gives me back a different color, EA0064. Very similar, but it's just slightly darker. Now, oddly enough, the problem even happens with Chrome's own developer tools. So if I open up the dev tools, let's find that particular square. We'll see that, okay, obviously from the CSS it tells me it's F40065. Now if I use Chrome Developer Tools' own color picker and I just pick the color again from the same page, all of a sudden it gives me EA0064. I can keep doing this and you'll see that as I keep feeding the same color back into itself, it just gets progressively darker. So there's definitely some kind of shift happening here. Let's just back out of that. And even if I use some kind of graphics program, in this case I've got Affinity Photo here. Let's grab a screenshot, for instance. Grab a screenshot of this, pop it in here, and if I use the color picker here, we'll see again it gives me back EA0064. So it takes whatever the output is after Chrome has applied some kind of color management. That's what I get out of that. If I go to Firefox at this point, I think it's not color managed. So I've got the same example here. If I use the color contrast analyzer and just pick that color, it correctly identifies it as F40065. Similarly, if I use developer tools in Firefox, it can color pick this correctly. And if I did the same with taking a screenshot like so and going into a graphics app separately and picking it, I get the correct result of F40065. So the problem primarily seems to be don't rely on Google Chrome if you're trying to use some kind of color picker to determine what the color is, to do things like determining contrast ratios. Alternatively, or rather, you should always go right back to the source if possible and look in developer tools themselves and actually find what the author specified for that particular foreground or background color if you can.